Hey guys, Urban Combat Survivor here. I'm going to do a video on safe zones. I'm not going to cover the full extent of the topic. I'm just going to do a basic video here real quick to give you the fundamentals, the basics of my thought processes and the way I think things are going to go and my reaction to those anticipated things. That sounded probably a little more complicated than what it really is, but here goes. When I say safe zone, what I mean is a place that is buffered in some way from any chaos, any lawlessness that's going on outside of that place. So at first, my safe zone is going to be my home, as it probably will be for just about everyone. The goal there is to make the building itself, the structure itself, secure and safe for those inside. Eventually, I'm going to extend that to the edges of the property line of my home. In other words, first it's just going to be the building, then I'm going to include backyard, front yard, alleys, anything like that. Now, if you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I anticipate moving to a more secure building than a physical home, than a house structure really can be, because they're not built for any kind of defense. So I'm not going to go into the specifics of my personal plan. Of what I am going to do, though, is explain what I mean by safe zones, and then later on in another video, or maybe even a couple of videos, I'll explain the details of what I mean by the things that I'm going to say here. What I believe each of us is going to have to do is plan for the psychology of the masses. And that's a kind of fancy way, I guess, of saying anticipate what the idiots out there are going to do. So what I do is I'm a student of history. I read a lot of things that have gone on, even modern history, all the way back to as far back as I can get my hands on. But I also watch. I'm a people watcher. And I've noticed that if you ever watch a chaos situation, I've been in the middle of quite a few of them, but that's a different duck. If you watch a chaos situation, what happens generally is there's a core group of instigators. And if something breaks out in the middle of a crowd, that core group of instigators starts doing something. Whatever that thing is, fighting another group or messing around or just randomly targeting people. Whatever happens, the crowd in general, their first immediate response is to scatter. That's what I believe is going to happen from cities. Everybody's going to be trying to get out. They're all going to try to scatter from the core center of what's going on. If you continue watching those kind of situations, though, what happens is a small amount of people, if any, but if it does happen, it's only a few people, and that instigates others. If someone steps in to help, generally those people that are standing around just to watch, that is when other people will step in. People that have been standing there watching what's going on, not knowing what to do. Once someone takes an action, people follow. People in general are followers. Especially in a crisis situation, they panic, they lock up, they don't know what to do. What I'm saying is, you as a person who is preparing need to be in the mindset of the person who's going to take an action, not rely on others to take the first action. With that comes the concept of establishing safe areas. If you continue watching the crowd that I'm giving you the example here, what happens is, if a fight breaks out in this part of the crowd and another fight breaks out in another part of the crowd, what goes on is people start moving away from the areas where the violence is happening and going to places they perceive to be safe. In a breakdown of the rule of law, if you have established your home as a safe zone, people are going to instinctively move towards that in a hope that you can extend the shelter of safety to them. I'm not going to get into the philosophy or the morals on whether or not you should do that. That's within your own heart. What I am going to do, though, is let you know that in my plan, numbers matter. If If people are looking for safe zones, there are going to be certain people that are very um, beneficial to your situation, but most people are not. But I believe everyone who doesn't already have a plan in their own safe zone set up is going to start trying to migrate to your safe area. You're not just going to keep your building secure. You have to extend that perimeter. If you keep just the building you're insecure, you're in a constant state of crisis. And as I said before, that can't be maintained. It's not part of the human condition. We can't do it. So what you have to do is extend your perimeter out so that the building is not only just the building is secure, but a certain area beyond your building is secure. And that's the safe zone people are going to want to come into. If you allow people to come into that safe zone, you can incorporate them into the mindset, into the plan of a safe zone. And you can start rather quickly, I think, reestablishing a basic form of the rule of law in your immediate area. Now, I could be callous. As a matter of fact, I will be. I'm just going to say this. If you have people around in the edges of your safe zone, they benefit from the safety of your safe zone. And while you may not have the resources to feed and clothe and house them, they're going to start moving into buildings close by. And they will act as a buffer to your center, your core safe zone. So you're benefiting from one another. It may seem callous and it may seem crude to say that, but they are benefiting from the established safety that you have created. And you can benefit in extending your safety beyond them. If they start adding around the perimeter, what you're doing is effectively extending your safe zone now. If any of them that show up are armed, you can then, as you're establishing the rule of law, you can then start extending your safe zone even further, because you always want a perimeter past the edge of what you consider your safe zone. So you can now have any armed people that show up and try to benefit from your safety start looking outward, away from the core, and establishing an even safer distance further away from you. As that continues, I believe it's going to cycle. People are going to, every movie out there, apocalypse movies, zombie movies, whatever it is, you see those migrators going through saying, I heard it's safe in Kansas. I heard there's this in Montreal. Well, that probably word of mouth. People need hope. And if there is no hope, they generate that hope. Well, in your instance, if you have established a safe zone, there's actually hope. So what you just need to know. I mean, you can say, I'm going to turn them all away. That's up to you. But I don't think it would work. People will cling desperately. Think about a drowning man. If any of you have ever taken any safety courses on swimming, as far as being a lifeguard is concerned, they teach you a little mantra. It's called reach, row, throw, go. Reach means get out there with a pole or something if you can reach them. If not, use a boat. If not, throw something to them. The last resort is for you to get in a distance where they can cling to you, because in their desperation, they'll pull you under. Well, this is going to be no different. This is going to be like drowning in society. People are going to cling. If you try to push them away, they're going to cling more desperately, and it might actually generate a dangerous situation. So you have to have a mindset of allowing either yourself to do what you need to do to stop them from clinging, or the extension of your safe zone to include a larger distance. So for me, my core safe zone is going to be off limits to anybody that comes later. But if you can establish a ring around that, as I plan on doing, and then allow that ring to just keep extending out bigger as more useful people with weapons show up, you can establish a larger and larger safe zone. And people are going to hear about that, just like in the movies when they're flocking to Kansas. People are going to hear somebody is making it safe over here. In this neighborhood, there's a safe spot. In this area, there's a safe spot. You can go there with your children and they can sleep without being attacked and victimized. You can take your wife and your daughter there without them being attacked. you can have food there without other people trying to kill you for it. It's going to come down to the basics like that. Basic survival protection. And people are going to flock to safe zones. You're going to make a safe zone of your home anyway. It would be smart to extend it at least a bit beyond your home. I think it'd also be smart to realize other people are going to try to come. Have a plan for them. Whatever your plan is, I'm not going to judge you. I don't expect anyone else is going to judge me over this. My morals dictate a certain thing. My honor dictates a certain thing. I'm the kind of person that I believe in my heart that my honor code will not change if there's a breakdown of the rule of law. I'm a person who does the right thing because it's right and for no other reason. Not for benefit, not for profit. So that's just my personal philosophy. If you want to allow your safe zone to extend for the benefit of the other people and the benefit of yourself because they're a buffer, that's fine. Whatever your morals dictate, but just know people will come. Urban Combat Survivor, signing off.